So hello and welcome to our recipe with Margaret's free range eggs, and I'm delighted this time to be using Margaret's liquid free range eggs. They're fantastic handy. They're very convenient actually just to pour directly from the fridge, and there's no waste, none whatsoever. So the recipe that I'm going to do for you today is a beautiful, very light, fluffy, traditional style pancake. So let's get cooking. So for light fluffy pancakes, everything starts with just making sure you sieve the flour. Every time there's a reason to do so, do it. It'll lighten it up. And the rule is always quite simple. It's dried ingredients first, and then you add the wet to the dried, and then you're ready to start making the beautiful batter. So to that, I'm also going to add in some baking powder, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, teaspoons I should say, and 4 tablespoons of caster sugar. And that's all our dried ingredients together, and just using your whisk, just mix them up a little bit, and then we're going to bring our wet ingredients so that we can add the wet to the dry. So for this I am using some buttermilk and melted butter. So firstly in with the buttermilk to a bowl, and then add in a bit of melted butter, and that just enriches this up lovely, gives a nice flavour as well, by the way. And then to that we're going to be adding around about 120 grams of the liquid whole egg. And as I said, this is just so convenient. I mean, straight from your fridge. Keep it in your fridge always as well. Brilliant for not just pancakes, but excellent for the likes of a very, very quick omelette for a brunch or maybe going into lunchtime. So many benefits, and really good for baking in general. So whisk those together. So I'm guaranteed to have no shells in there as well, with using the liquid whole egg. And then we're simply just going to add our wet ingredients to the dry flour mix into the center. Hold a little bit back because you're never sure sometimes just the absorption rate of the liquid to the flour. And just continue to whisk from the center out, allowing the flour to fall its way in. That'll avoid any lumps. And the good news in this is it's going to take, as per exactly the recipe, everything that I need. And we'll just whisk and whisk until all that flour has been incorporated in, and we have a relatively batter-like consistency, which is what we're after. And you'll see that happens fairly quick. Look at that, we're almost there. Last of that flour, and then it's time to just work that a little bit harder. There we go. Now it might seem a little pound thick to you at this stage, and that's okay. We want a fall away batter consistency, and if it is like what this one is, a little bit on the thick side, we'll just add a little bit more milk or buttermilk to that. So I'll do that now. So there we go, with a little bit more of the buttermilk. Now you might not always need that, but just to loosen that up slightly. There we go. And now when you bring that together, you'll see that the baking powder is starting to work there already in rising that up. Give it a good last whisk. Make sure there's no lumps in there. And this is what you're looking for. Look, beautiful golden, and that's down to the liquid whole egg. We're going to let that sit and let it rest anywhere from about 10 minutes otherwise. And in the meantime, just make sure we dry heat a pan, and I'll have that on a nice low to medium heat and just allow that to dry. It's a non-stick pan, and then I'll show you how to cook these beautiful and light fluffy pancakes. Okay, so we'll give that a final whisk just as it's been sitting there for about 10 minutes, and that's the nice consistency that you're after. And then we're going to start to immediately cook these pancakes. Now it's funny because in my head I'm starting to move towards what are we going to have with these beautiful pancakes, and of course I'll reveal that at the end of it. You have what you want, but to me the key is the gorgeous fluffy pancakes. So this is a dry pan, okay, and I've it on a nice sort of medium to low heat there, and that isn't too exciting as a heat, and that's deliberate. Depending on the size you want, I just happen to have just a lovely kind of ladle here that I use at home. And again, once you drop that into the pan, just kind of shake it a little bit, sort of a bit of pressure, so you get a nice round shape. And I'll get about 4 of these into this pan. Now if you want them bigger, obviously you might only get 2. And then the secret is just to leave that and make sure we don't touch these beautiful. They'll find their own shape as well, by the way, and that's exactly what a pan should do, is allow them to just develop lovely little lightness underneath. So we let them cook and sit now for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. So these look like they could be turned now. So you want to just get underneath. I'm just using a spatula. There we go. That's the lovely color that we want in those. It's going to take the same time again just underneath to cook them. And look at that. So that's what you're looking for, beautiful golden color in those. And once you do that, we'll just flip over these other ones as well. So once you get all of your pancakes cooked, I'm going to stack them up. I always find on a day that you're making pancakes, do you ever notice people trickle in and trickle home? So I'm not sure what time your people or your family's coming home, but at least if you have them stacked up like this, they're nice and warm. And who likes lemon? Who likes sugar? Who likes a chocolate spread? Maybe some maple syrup or some local honey. Personally, I do love local honey on it. And again, look, just drizzled over the top of it and just let it fall down the sides of it. But leaving this out on the table, all these beautiful accompaniments, it just lets people deal with what they want themselves. But for me, definitely has to have a little bit of honey, particularly if it's early morning, sort of going into lunchtime. Squeeze a fresh lemon juice. And you know, if someone wants a little bit of chocolate, just leave it on the side. But I just think that's beautiful. And that is our gorgeous fluffy pancakes brought to you using Margaret's free range whole liquid egg. And I'm off to eat these. Enjoy.